Wrestling Federation with something brand new for all the wrestling fans beginning this Saturday night. Of course, we'll have highlights right here next Sunday morning on Sunday Morning Superstars. Certainly a different program than the Imposters, in as much as that the WWF actually has an original thought every now and then.
Originality, man, what a concept. And right now, I wish they would go back to where they originally came from, the Godwinns.
I was in Arkansas yesterday.
I feel bad for you, JR. I spent a week there last night.
Fans here certainly like the Godwinns. They're very, very popular. Very much unlike Stone Cold Steve Austin. In case you just joined us, Stone Cold lost a handicap match, upset by Jason Arndt and Eddie Jackie thanks to the British Bulldog, and then Austin took matters into his own hands and pulled a double Pillman on Jackie and Arndt, and we understand that those two young men are being examined as we speak to determine the extent of their injuries.
Talk about leaving your fingerprints at the scene of the crime. He might as well have signed his name to that one, both of them with chairs on their ankles. And I tell you, this guy, wait, look at this, Justin Hawk Bradshaw. What's he doing? Another big Texan.
I have no idea. And Bradshaw.
Who's he yelling at? Everybody?
Looks like he's yelling at everybody. Looks like he came out here to talk to Barry Windham, the Stalker, who hails now from the environment, which I guess is the capital C of parts unknown. Maybe he's trying to convince Windham to get out of those stupid-looking pants and put some real wrestling tights on and become the athlete that he always was and not some lame marketing idea.
Well, I don't know what he's trying to convince Barry Windham of, but I know that Wyndham's not too anxious to hear it, and it looks like Bradshaw, well, emphatically not too anxious to hear it, and Bradshaw not happy that he doesn't want to hear it. What's going on there? And Phinneas, a brain surgeon as usual, you know, this guy is not exactly one of the brightest members of the community, the Forrest Gump of the WWF, but he is a strong guy, but, you know, he's just like the rest of these people in the arena, not too bright.
Well, you know, that great American Ted Turner said today in the New York Post, was quoted in the good, the bad, and the ugly personalities, that a lot of Americans are, well, Americans are some of the dumbest people on earth. I don't believe that.
Well, I hate to agree with the source, but if you look around, well, 8 out of 10 people belong behind a fence, but...
Side headlock by Phinneas Godwinn on the Stalker.
I heard Turner and Rupert Murdoch are going to bury the hatchet in each other's backs.
Well, Phinneas Godwinn trying to get this crowd here behind him in a matchup where both men have a recognizable degree of popularity.
I think it would be easier to get downwind of Phinneas. This is one time when I've got to be on the side of Barry Windham simply by the process of elimination. Both these guys may be popular, but in this case, at least Windham bathes on a regular basis.
I thought about Phinneas yesterday morning. My mama fixed me a big old piece of pan-fried ham, biscuits and gravy.
You're popping your peas, JR. You're starting to salivate thinking about those biscuits and gravy.
Nothing wrong with that.
On a Sunday morning.
Man that don't like his mama's biscuits and gravy is something wrong with him. And there's a hammerlock slam. A lot of strength right there because Phinneas must go about 330.
Easily. Every centimeter, every ounce, every step of the way of it. And Windham, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Windham has not lived up to his potential here in the World Wrestling Federation because I think that he's too busy worrying about playing to the crowd's sympathies and trying to get people behind him, instead of being who all he can be, such as our sponsors, the U.S. Army will teach you how to do, and going out there and winning some matches.
Henry Godwinn looks on. And no Hillbilly Jim here this week. I think maybe Hillbilly's got the swine flu.
No, he had a head injury. He got up last night to get a drink of water, and a lid fell on his head.
And clean break here. Make any New Year's resolutions there, James E.?
Well, I tried to, but they said your contract has still got a couple of years to run.
My contract has got many years to run, and which is always good for the fans to know. They've got OJR here to add a little sanity to this traveling nut circus.
Well, I can't wait for January 19th. I'm wondering if one of the Godwinns or both of the Godwinns will be involved in the Royal Rumble. As a matter of fact, I'm scanning my list, and I don't see all of the names of the participants down here so far, but one thing's for sure, it's going to be top to bottom the strongest lineup, I think, that the World Wrestling Federation has yet presented in one night. The Royal Rumble event, January 19th, and 70,000 screaming fans are going to be on the edge of their seats every step of the way.
And Wyndham going up top here, and Phinneas Godwinn not as damaged as Wyndham perceived, and Wyndham slammed for his trouble right off the top.
Halfway across the ring.
And Phinneas now, the side headlock, keeping this thing very, very basic. I'll tell you something. I think with the matches already signed for the Royal Rumble, Shawn Michaels challenging Psycho Sid for the WWF title. You got Helmsley defending the Intercontinental title against Goldust. There's a roll-up, but no real near fall there.
Don't forget Vader. What's he said? He said, I'll knock you out right here. Ha! Well, good. I like a man who backs up what he says. And don't forget Vader taking on The Undertaker at the Royal Rumble, JR, because I got my eyes on that one.
Ahmed Johnson and Farouk. Wait a minute, there's a roll-up. And Phinneas got all that weight on top of Wyndham's shoulders, and Wyndham got caught with his camouflage down around his ankles.
Wyndham had the match in hand. He had the thing won. He had knocked Phinneas on his duff when all of a sudden he turns around. Wait, here comes Bradshaw. What's he doing?
Justin Hawk Bradshaw now back out here. Bradshaw attacking the Godwinns, knocking down Henry, hammering away at Phinneas, and Wyndham's just watching what is going on.
Now they're both on Bradshaw. They're clubbing Bradshaw, and Wyndham's not. And he spins Godwinn around. He's helping Bradshaw.
Wyndham the Stalker with a hard right hand, and now Wyndham's turning his back on Bradshaw. Wyndham headed back to the locker room. Bradshaw still fighting the Godwinns here.
Well, now, wait a minute. Wyndham was mad at Bradshaw earlier, so Bradshaw jumps the guys that beat Wyndham. Then the guys that beat Wyndham beat up Bradshaw, and Wyndham helps the guys that beat him beat up Bradshaw, and now Wyndham don't want Bradshaw around. What the heck's going on?